Call to order. The April 11th, Town of SYLVA-Board Commissioners meeting. Welcome, everyone. First thing on our agenda is to approve the agenda. So I entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do you have any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by like sign, and the motion carries. Also entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Make that motion. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have any discussion? No discussion, all in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign, and the motion carries. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment? Next thing on the agenda is reports. Starts with the mayor's report. I met a couple of weeks ago with Kevin King, a new county manager. Had a good meeting with him.
I'll be happy to.
Anyway, in meeting with him, I had a page of all the things that town and the county are doing together. There's things on there, sort of master plan for Pinnacle Park, things like that. He's all up to speed on all those things now and good with things that the town's doing with the county to continue as always. And also had a nice meeting with Mark Letson this week. We met and talked about our paid firemen that we were asking for. We'd asked for 3. They have made a decision. They're going to give us 2 new paid firemen, and we can ask for another one next year. And there's also been some discussion that looks like it may actually happen. I know it's sort of an important matter to some of our board members, and I think it would be good news for everybody that they are looking at maybe building a substation on the other end of Sylva to get some of the emergency traffic off the back street and also give us a quicker response to Billsboro. So they're looking at a place in the city limits on our end. I hope that's the place they choose. But if they do that, one of the options is to build that substation big enough to store all the stuff. If the sheriff's office presently has stored at Ridge Park or at Mark Watson Park. So those old buildings are bad and rusted down and ready to go. So they're either going to do that or they're going to build a smaller substation and acquire a piece of property up at Rosie's in that shopping center to build a storage building for the sheriff's office, put that stuff in. And they've agreed to, we've got a consensus of the board saying that they would agree to take over the skate park and put it in those buildings are in Mark Watson Park. And I may have spoke a little out of school without the full board's approval, but I think it would behoove us to donate the materials we have for the skate park to the county. And then I also insinuated that I thought we could do a partnership with the county to build a nature walk around the swamp and create a new place for people that can walk their dogs in peace. And do that. So I think we could both apply for the CDA grants to get that done with very little expense to the county or the county.
Wonderful.
So that's all I have. Thank you, Mary.
I just want to remind everybody of the annual. Okay, I'm going to remind everybody about the Tuck River cleanup. This is its 40th annual year. This is an event that is very special to my heart. Tuck River runs through the majority of Jackson County, and it's a great opportunity for us to go together with Western and put on a wonderful event.
Shut that door, please. Chief. Some people can't leave that door shut. Have them removed, please.
Is it lost? Yes. It's limited to 500 participants, so if it's something that you want to participate in, this is a Western Carolina University event. And on the campus of Western, right around the University Tower from 9 to 11, between my shut times, it's open to walkers and to boaters. I also want to mention a pool near the old Creekside location. Jake, you probably know what I'm talking about. I just wonder if there might be some funds available to put on that pool. And then the third is.
On Raymond Street, on near the bridge.
Yes, sir, yeah, that's the one. The last thing is I had a resident reach out to me about Cowie and Maple Street. The neighbor has built a very large white fence there, which is blocking a little bit of viewing, and it's making it a little bit difficult to understand, property lines and like where you can and where you can't. And I just want to make sure that we acknowledge this and look into this. It's also making it very difficult for folks that are coming up Cowie to make an educated decision about going left or right. You just can't see. So I'm suggesting maybe we revisit where that stop sign is. And then also the white fence. So that's my thanks for this.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. I don't think my microphone works. First of all, apologize for missing the last two meetings. I think everybody here knows that a family medical situation that required my attention, but that's gotten better, so should be able to attend meetings going forward. But I do apologize for that. Then I want to express my disappointment in our decision to deny Silva Pride the opportunity to have a parade on Main Street in Silva, as they've done for several years. The Pride Parade in Silva, as with Pride parades in other places, it's a chance for people who are often rejected by the community, even sometimes their own families, to feel part of our town and be proud of who they are. Hence the name Pride. I believe that parade has historically brought a spirit of inclusivity and positivity to our town that was special. And it's also represented an opportunity for members of the LGBTQ plus community from other places that are not as inclusive to feel part of our larger mountain community. I think we let our community down by changing our position. And I believe that we have gone backwards instead of forward, which is not something that should be a goal of a town, a community that is moving forward in many ways, but which includes diversity. I'm troubled by our reasoning. We cited expenses, safety, and logistics. Those are all worthy and legitimate considerations for us as a town and a board. But expenses were mentioned, and there is a fee schedule for people requesting a street closure. That was not made clear, in my opinion, in the last meeting. It should be made clear now for the public that there is a way for people who want to close streets and still to pay for that. And I did not think that was clear in the meeting. So I want to make it clear now. We cited safety and logistics, and those should be concerns for all street closures. That wasn't mentioned. And I think our decision to deny Pride's request for these reasons suggests that we scrutinized their application in a manner that is not consistent. If we can keep people safe at Treat Street, and we can keep people safe at a Christmas parade, and we can keep people safe at a Pride parade. I'd also like to say that citing other causes that there was some mention of other causes that might want a parade. And there's a difference in those situations, and we tried to equate them because none of these other causes applied for a parade. And Pride did, and it's our job as a board to consider applications, not conversations. And that's what we seem to do. So considering what's required of this board to address those concerns, I would like to request that Commissioners Estridge, Jones, and Gelbaugh reconsider your position and allow Silva Pride to resubmit an application so that it may be considered with these things in mind that I've mentioned. And I'd furthermore like for staff to give us some guidance on how we could officially proclaim a Pride Day in Sylva. And I recommend that we work with Sylva Pride to time this day to coincide with their plans for future Pride celebrations. That's all I have.
Yes, I just have one thing tonight. It was brought to my attention, there's a fireman in the Savannah Fire Department, he and his wife, their name is Hunter and Madison Cara. They've had a premature birth with a child, not doing too good, and they're having a benefit, Savannah Fire Department. I think it's next Friday, during the day, and I think we need, to try to get people to go and help support these people. They could use, the help. I'm sure with anyone that's ever had problems with a child being the newborn like that, they could use all the help they could get. So if you have in your heart and got the time, maybe go to Savannah Fire Department next Friday, try to buy some barbecue or hot dogs, whatever they're selling, and then let's try to support these people.
I want to say thank you, Commissioner Waldrop. I think what you said was great. I have a few things I'd like to say as well. They're a bit different than what I normally share in my commissioner's report, but it is of utmost importance that I share some things with this board and with our community that many may not have been privy to, as well as some items that weigh heavily on my heart following our most recent meeting. I'm giving this report based on my own convictions, and no board, this one, Silver Pride or otherwise, has convinced me to do so. My observation is that the Silver Pride Board and the organization have remained gracious and calm throughout this disappointing decision. However, many individuals of our community are obviously upset. I want to make it very clear that I am deeply hurt and disappointed following our last meeting and the recent decision and vote to deny Silver Pride's application for a 2-block street closure. It is not the denial that has been so troubling to me, more so it's how flippantly and hastily this board made that decision with little to no consideration about what was before us. This began with Commissioner Jones's race to present a motion to deny the permit outright and then refusing to rescind this motion as requested by myself and allow the Silver Pride Board to convene and discuss options that had not been presented to them prior to our meeting. If you will also remember, there was a letter that was shared with us at that meeting during public comment. It was evidently the result of many downtown businesses expressing their support for this community event. Business complaints are often cited when these types of decisions are being discussed, and many of our very involved local businesses wanted to make it very clear that they were not the reason the board said no. Furthermore, Commissioner Waldrop was not present during our most recent meeting. I requested we look at the application at a future meeting to allow all commissioners to be present. This would have also given the board time to speak with constituents and the community as well. This last point is the one that bothered me most. If you all will also recall, recently we had to choose new streetlights for our town. Please note that neither Commissioner Gelbaugh nor Commissioner Waldrop were present at that meeting. Despite an obvious consensus from the present board members, it was decided that we should wait until we had thought about it more and when all board members could be present. I find it very sad that we could take the extra time to choose streetlights, but refuse to give a moment more to the consideration of the parade permits. Recently, I came into the knowledge that though the vote to deny was passed, one of the prevailing members of the vote could allow Civil Pride to bring forth another application that could address concerns of money and safety. When I learned of this information, I immediately contacted Commissioner Eskridge, and I know that Commissioner Waldrop later spoke with Commissioner Gelbaugh about the same subject. They could not be swayed to even consider a new permit application from Silver Pride, potentially addressing concerns of safety, money, and logistics. The handling of this vote by this board does not reflect our proposed town values and our claims to be committed to inclusivity. And for me, at least, that's hard to swallow. And if we're so concerned about safety, then why do we have events such as street, which I enjoy very much? However, it's a very much longer event in which children fill our streets and businesses spend their money happily closing their doors to hand out candy. And if anyone fears that me speaking out about this could result in retaliation from the powers that be and hinder any future private events, I urge you to see what is already happening, what has already been taken, and realize that if using your voice causes you to lose these liberties, then that also means that not using your voice, hiding in silence, is the only thing allowing you to hold on to those two things. Not what's right, not what's good, but because you did not speak the truth. And those of y'all who are considering punishing an entire community of people because some decided to speak up, please realize that that is not the look you think it is, and further echoes the concerns, fear, and comments by some in our community that this is not about money or logistics or business or really even safety. For many opposers of a pride parade, but instead is deeply rooted in the fact that you don't want to see queer people at all. And if it were up to them, there would be no SYLVA pride at all. Thank you.
I just have a few things. The balanced draft budget will be sent to the board on April the 18th. You'll have a week to review it before the draft budget work session, April the 25th, after our 9 a.m. board meeting. Bringing Up the Mountains is just over 2 weeks away, so preparations are in full swing. Cross your fingers we have good weather, please. As far as project updates, the Bridge Park project is on schedule. The observation deck should be started next week. One weir is completed and the other one is just a little bit over halfway installed. For the public restroom, Cinderella Partners should be back on site early next week after our change order. A local contract will remediate the unsuitable soil. Materials are being delivered on site and the new projected completion date is now June the 5th. The Bryson Park playground equipment has been ordered and Odell is drawing plans with an expanded pavilion. Let's see, I've given you all copies of my performance evaluation. We'll do those in closed session after our next meeting, but before the budget work session. But please let me know if you need any additional information as you're filling them out or if you have questions. And we've still been conducting interviews at the police department to try to fill the vacant positions. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Good. Move this on to new business. And Pinnacle Park Master Plan is on the agenda for discussion on. Does anyone have any comments about the Pinnacle Park Master Plan?
It was a great proposal and I like it. I really liked the outside classroom. That they put in there. I thought that was really good.
No, I agree with what Mary said. I don't have any other.
I'll say I've learned more about Pinnacle Park than I've ever known before. It's an interesting subject and how to manage all that and take care of the money and try to only use the interest and things of that nature. So, and it's interesting learning what the money can and cannot be spent on as well. So, it's a learning curve for all of us, but I would say I've learned a lot from Jake Howard about it. He's worked very well informed.
Gave a great presentation.
Yeah. I don't think there's any action to take on that. It's for discussion only. And that moves us to the last thing on our agenda, which is a closed session meeting pursuant to GS 143-318.11A and 3 to consult with the board's attorney. So at this time, yeah, okay. So we do need a motion to go into closed session.
Pursuant to General Statute 143-318-11A3, I make a motion that we go into closed session to consult with our attorney.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, by like sign, and the motion carries. So at this time, we'd like for everyone that's not town staff or board members to please.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Natalie.
So sorry.
I'm very mobile.
See you later.